you said comedians are the modern day philosophers. Do you think comedy needs to have a purpose? And let me throw some context. So George Carlin had once said that every comedian needs to find where they draw the line and then cross it deliberately. Do you think comedy always has to send a message? I mean, today you can clearly see a divide between comedians who only engage in political humor. A lot of the talk show hosts is just political comedy.
Right.
And then you have the other side of the table where there's comedians who only deal with bits and gags and goofy stuff and some timeless comedy. Do you think comedy has to send a message, has to punch down or punch up?
Right.
Or can comedy just exist?
Yeah, I don't know. I hate when people say punch down. They're like, don't punch down. I'm like, why are you labeling it punching to begin with? Like, that's not how I would look at it. But yeah, I think like comedy's like the main goal is just to make you laugh. And that's really it. But you know, one tenet of comedy or one style is like pointing out hypocrisy or even just like making observations, and then it is humorous. And I think built into that is just like it ends up being a commentary on society, you know.
Yeah.
So, you know, it is philosophical in that way, or it might make you think differently. And I guess that becomes philosophical or whatever. But like, would Socrates, if he was alive today, would he have been a comedian? No, I don't think so. Like, I don't think like if you read any of like the stuff Plato wrote that he said, like, was it funny? No. So like, I think it's just like the main goal of comedy is to make you laugh. That's it. And then all that other stuff is just like ornaments or expectations people are putting on top of it. Like, oh, it needs to punch up.
Yeah.
It's about speaking truth to power. I'm like, not always. Like, yeah, jesters, sure, that's what their job was. But like in general, it's to make you laugh. If it can do all that other stuff, that's awesome. But I think putting all those labels or expectations on it is lame. It's like saying, "Oh, music needs to make you feel like you did as a child." It's like, what are you talking about? It's just supposed to release dopamine in your brain. Like, that's really it. Like, if it does that for you, that's awesome, and that makes it a little bit better. But I don't know why limit yourself or your ability to enjoy art based on if it's fulfilling your expectation of what it needs to be, or whether it's like doing a political service for you. That makes sense?
It does.
I could be wrong though. I'm the type where if you said no, this is why you're wrong, and it was a good point, I'd be like,
what, Sean, you are wrong, and I wait for the comments.
Yeah, right. Like,
I agree. And consistently, you have taken the stance that the end justifies the means, and I get it, because who are we to draw the lines and say like the path that you've taken towards being funny is the right one or not? That's such a subjective line, but as long as you can clearly tell when someone's laughing or not. And if that's your goal.
But I also do think like people are like, I think there's like a reverse to that. Like if you use comedy to be like, you know, like if you like, you're like, yeah, white supremacy is cool, right? How everybody's laughing. And then you're like, no, but really, right? Like if you like keep, like you could use it to like sway people and like, it does shape how people think, the same way Louis' bit made me look differently at life. Like I do understand people's perception of like saying like, oh, like, you know, it's like, because people are like, oh, it's just about being funny. Like I could see the reverse sometimes, but for the most part, to me, it's just like, does it make you laugh? Yes or no? And then it's sometimes I would even say it's the responsibility less of the comedian and more the audience member to realize this is a joke and that I shouldn't take it serious.